which are like a residual effect of the wine. And she said you doesn't want cupcakes to fall. So that's why she was warming wine. I haven't seen you do that before. It's new for me too. So I asked her, I said, what are you doing? At first I thought maybe she was putting carbon dioxide, but carbon,
I think she had fixed something.
With the heater.
How many
We use
times?
that.
As long as it takes to warm that big tank up, I guess.
It doesn't like the beer inside. Like it's the beer inside. No? Warm.
Oh, no, because we want to keep everything generally cool in here. Yes. And it was only just that tank she wants to warm, not all of these. I'll start a little bit from the beginning first. My boss, Tony Soljans, this place is named after the Soljans. His grandparents came out from Croatia in the late 20s, and they established the first winery on Lincoln Road. Yeah? And then the winery went down from Tony's grandfather to Tony's father, and then it went down to Tony, my boss, who moved here in 2002. Much better area, not only for growing grapes, but also for the ambience and the atmosphere. There's quite a lot of wineries, about 13 in this area alone now. Yeah? Now, on here, we have about 4 hectares of land, so we grow predominantly Pinot Gris. The other wines that we have contract growers for in Hawke's Bay, Gisborne and Marlborough, and they grow the grapes for us. We bring them all back here, and we do everything, all the winemaking, everything from here, including the bottling. That bottling line that you walk past, we also do a lot of bottling for the other wineries in the area. Keeps them busy. We're a very small boutique winery that we only crush between 150 to 200 tons of grapes a year. That gives you only 15,000 to 20,000 cases of wine. So it's very small. And if you want a comparison, Villa Maria, one of the very big wineries, they crush 77,000 tons last year. So you see we're very small. Yeah? Yeah. So when the wine gets crushed, for example, I'll use Sauvignon Blanc as an example. When the wine, or the grapes rather, gets crushed in Marlborough, they press the grapes on site to get all the juice out of them, because we don't need the skins of the white grapes. So they bring up the juice in big tanker trucks, the big roller door goes up, and the wine, or the juice at that point, is pumped into all of these stainless steel fermentation. Now wine is pretty pure, and although it can be quite scientific, pretty straightforward to make. All we add to the wine is yeast. And the yeast eats up the natural sugars from the grapes and produces alcohol. Yeah? So then all we really have to do is clean it, get rid of all of the residual effects, you know, what's it called? Anyway, you know, so when the yeast eats the sugar, it sort of leaves a byproduct of that. We need to clean that, get rid of that, and then basically, with a lot of our, especially our fruitier wines like Sauvignon Blanc, they're ready to be bottled and ready to go. Because we want to drink the white wines when they're young and the fruit flavours are very intense and the acids are high. That's what makes Sauvignon Blanc especially famous in New Zealand. Okay, go back to red grapes. Now, red wines are different and they're made differently because we need the skins on top for the grapes for the colour of the wine. Because once you take a skin off a grape, the inside is just white. So you can make any wine without skin. Only when you add the red skins do you get the red colouring and the red flavours, the fruity, plummy, cherry flavours from the skins. So we bring the red grapes up in big bunches and we press those here. And so we pump the juice and the skins into the fermentation tanks. Now, we actually ferment red wine warm. It helps get the colour out of the skin. But it also ferments fairly quickly, like in a day. But we need to leave it in there for its colour. Now, once the red wine is fermented and ready, it doesn't go into bottles. It then goes into oak barrels. Yeah? Now I'm going to take you around the other side and tell you a story and show you the oak barrels it goes into. Yeah? Any questions so far?
Yeah, I think how do you separate the skin and
The machines?
You use the machine?
Yeah, and they crush the grapes. Yeah, like rip off the skins, and because we don't want the stalks or the leaves as well, and it separates all those. We play the machine.
And is the red wine made by wine grape or the red wine
grapes? Red wine, red grapes.
Red wine, red grapes.
Yeah.
Wine.
Green grapes.
Green grapes.
But the flavor, it depends on the grape flavor.
But yes. You know, it's like apples.
Yeah.
You know, you go into a supermarket and you can get a Brabham or a Granny Smith, different kind. Each apple has a different flavour.
Yeah.
Same as grapes. Each grape has different tastes and flavours. There's a lot of different styles around as well, just to confuse you. Like, for example, champagne. We use Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Now, Chardonnay is a green grape, but Pinot Noir is a red grape. So once we take the skins off, it's like
inside the white.
So we want the flavour of the Pinot Noir. That is the classic champagne grape, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
How long does the water take? How long does the water take? The water take how long time?
That one there, I'm not sure how long she took in there to warm it, but I think it would also depend on the temperature outside. Very cool in here today, might take a little bit longer to warm it. But not sure.
Thank you.
I haven't seen her doing it before, so it's new to me.
你这边给我哈。好漏风。
No problem.
This pen all make the oak.
All French oak.
Yep. Oh.
All of our red wines.
Why use of this cut
It's flavour.
for flavor?
Yeah. All of our red wines go into oak barrels for a minimum of 4 months, maximum 2 years. The only white wine that we put in oak barrels is Chardonnay. You've had the Chardonnay that's very woody, oaky. The only white wine that goes in there is Chardonnay. Yeah. Now, we use French oak because it's got its lovely, subtle characteristics for flavour. There are other oaks that we could use, but the oak flavours are very aggressive, and we don't want that. We want a nice balance in our flavour of our wine. We don't want too much. Now, each one of these French oak barrels we import from France. They cost us anywhere between $1,300 and $1,700, depending on the exchange rate. And we can only use them for 5 years, because by then we've leached all of the oak flavours out of the barrel. And so then they're no good to us, and that's why often when you drive past wineries you see cut in half oak barrels for sale, because they're no good to us anymore. Yeah? These ones here that you see that are very, very old, these ones actually have our vintage port in them. So no flavour coming from those oak barrels anymore. They're purely just holding our port. Tony, he started a port. Each year his daughters were born. So the one port he started 37 years ago, and the one port he started 43 years ago for both his daughters. So that's what's in those very oak barrels, very old oak barrels. And you see one here cut in half. Now to make the oak barrel, firstly, before they even cut the oak tree down, they wait a minimum of 80 years. 80.
80.
Yeah. Some even 170 years before they cut the tree down. When they cut one tree down, they plant two in its place. Yeah, so they'll never ever run out of oak in France. And once they cut it down, they then split the wood. So they cut it like into 4 or 5 pieces. And they leave it outside, so all the inside where they've cut it gets to weather for 2 more years before they even start making the barrel. Then the cooper comes. Now the cooper is the name of the person that makes the barrels, and he chooses his pieces of wood. Now the only thing he uses a machine for is to make the staves, these strips that you can see here that are put together. Yeah. Now of course they're all straight start with, and they need to be curved to curve in the shape of the barrel. So the wood needs to be steamed. So they put it all together and they steam it and tighten the bands until they get the curve. Then what they need to do, when it's all nicely in place, is they need to toast the oak. Now toasting not only adds flavour, but it caramelizes the sugars in the oak, and it helps seal the oak. So we can order our barrels lightly toasted, medium toasted, or heavily toasted, depending on what flavour we want. Heavily toasted oak can bring a lot of very smoky qualities to wine. We don't want too much aggressive flavour. We want it nice and balanced. So most of our oak, as you can see, will say, I'll find one, medium toast. So on the barrels, they will tell you the name of the cooper, the area where, rather the forest.
Yeah,
where the
I
oak
want to
was
know
cut
this
down.
name. This name, Maiden's name. Maiden is the barrel name.
Yeah.
This is Maiden in France.
Pardon?
In France.
Made for all of these oak barrels come from France.
Oh, really?
All of them. Yeah.
Wow.
Some come from different forests, but all of them from France.
Why?
Because the oak in France is nice, subtle flavour. Better than American oak, which is a very strong flavour. Best oak for wine.
Oh, best
is
quality.
French oak. Yeah, for its flavour and character. Because all wine varieties, all grapes originated from France. They were the first wine experts. So we keep the tradition with the flavours.
You mean and it's France and it's the best and it's the best in the world.
Best in the world?
Yeah.
Well, we could say we were some of them. But initially, all grape varieties, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris, Pinot Noir, all French names, all French grapes. The only two that we have that are German sounding, Gewürztraminer and Riesling, actually, they were actually grown in France when Germany occupied France in the war in Alsace. So really they're French grapes, just the Germans named them. But all grapes are original from France. Just no, that will be a code for the winemaker, just so he knows what's in there, because that looks to me like a year, a 9 year. That's probably when he's put in the, and this looks like Chardonnay.